what we were watching 50 years ago in 1971. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, Entertainment and Media. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, I'm back with another video, and this one might be unlike any of the others on this channel up to this point. I'm going to read something interesting that I saw, something which I thought was worth capturing here on video. I actually get a subscription of the Washington Post delivered to my place every Sunday. I don't always read it, and I actually tried canceling, but the salesman was very, very persistent, and he gave me a cut on the price. So, you know, a lot of weeks it piles up, and I just throw it in the recycling bag. But there are times when I do stop and look through it and see what's there. And I saw something interesting in Parade. This Parade comes in a lot of the issues. This was dated Sunday, August 22nd, so I was on vacation, and this was sitting here for me when I got back. But there's an interesting article, there was an interesting article in this issue of Parade entitled 1971, What Were We Watching 50 Years Ago? So, wow, it's hard to believe that, yeah, 1971 was 50 years ago. This is 2021, subtract 50, you get 1971. That was before I was born, a few years before I was born. But, so this is an overview and a discussion of the popular TV shows of the time. Many of them were pioneering and groundbreaking, and this is an entertainment and media channel, so I think it is fitting to read this and capture this here. So I'm going to read this. It's pretty quick, and I think it's worth capturing here. So on the cover you see a picture of Sonny and Cher. There's Sonny and Cher, all in the family, the Waltons, Aretha Franklin performing at Soul Train, or on Soul Train, and then there's Lieutenant Columbo. So let's jump in. So again, this is entitled What We Were Watching in 1971. These classic TV shows of 50 years ago continue to inspire and influence us today. This was written by Mara Reinstein. So I wanted to give proper attribution, as I did not write this. It's hard to believe, but 50 years ago, only a handful of channels were available on TV. Yet audiences in 1971, many of them watching on new color television sets, were witnessing history, the premieres of some of the most groundbreaking shows of all time. There was something for everyone, from topical comedies like All in the Family to the wholesome family fare of the Waltons, and escapist variety shows such as Soul Train and the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. And to paraphrase iconic police Lieutenant Columbo, just one more thing: those new shows were paving the way for other programs for decades to come. Here's a look at the classic TV shows of 1971, courtesy of the stars who helped make them special, and some well-known fans who grew up watching. So first up is Lieutenant Columbo, which aired from 1971 to 1977 on NBC, and then again on 1989 to 2003 on ABC. You know, the first time I recall hearing about Lieutenant Columbo because I was born in the mid 70s, so I was too young to have remembered it. Uh, there was a comedian. There was a comedian in the 1980s who mentioned Miami Vice in his stand-up comedy, and I remember him saying, "Miami Vice, did you see these guys? Poor Lieutenant Columbo." So, why it mattered. Peter Falk's trench coat-wearing policeman was a frumpy detective who talked like he'd rather be in a New York deli than a police station. But his unassuming personality was his secret weapon, causing criminals to underestimate him. I loved the character for his ability and his rumpled edges, says actor Matthew Rhys, 46, who played the murderer in Columbo's final installment and now portrays a private detective on HBO's Perry Mason. He always kept us hooked, even though we knew the formula well, because viewers saw the crime at the start of each episode. The fun was seeing how Columbo would figure it out. A show highlight. In a third season episode, Columbo has his biggest challenge, how to collar a killer who's also his boss. Broadway's Richard Kiley played the guilty deputy police commissioner. I'll never forget when I saw him in the coat for the first time the first day of shooting for his 2003 episode was surreal, Rhys said. And even though it was his 13th season, he approached the work as if it were seemingly the first. Did you know Columbo's first name was Frank, visible on his police badge? It influenced The Rockford Files, The Closer, Monk, Psych. Watch it now on Tubi. All in the Family. Oh, I love All in the Family. It aired from 1971 to 1979 on CBS. Why it mattered. When it came to dealing with personal issues, the working class bunkers of Queens, New York went way, way beyond prototypical sitcom fare like kitchen mishaps and workplace boo-boos. Instead, bigoted anti-hero Archie, played by Carol O'Connor, and his dingbat wife Edith, played by Jean Stapleton, along with their rebelliously progressive daughter Gloria, Sally Struthers, and son-in-law Mike, i.e. Meathead, Rob Reiner, mined comedy gold out of hot-button subjects such as racism, rape, immigration, gun control, and homophobia. Thanks to the risk-taking instincts of the show's creator, producer Norman Lear. Anyone who has worked on a sitcom in the last 40 years has benefited from the intelligence and honesty that Norman Lear brought to the genre, says actress Ellie Kemper, The Office, and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, 41, who played Gloria in 2 live All in the Family reproductions on ABC in 2019. A show highlight. A season 2 classic. While moonlighting as a cab driver, Archie discovers a briefcase left behind in the backseat by black entertainer Sammy Davis Jr. The star comes over to pick it up and plants a big kiss on Archie's cheek while a photo is being taken. I'll never forget how the characters felt like actual real people having candid, frank discussions about what was happening in the world, says Kemper. It was such an innovation. Did you know CBS rushed the show based on the British sitcom Till Death Do Us Part, as the popularity of its rural skewed offerings such as the Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction, and Green Acres waned. The result? #1 ratings for 5 years straight. It influenced One Day at a Time, Sanford and Son, Married with Children, Roseanne, King of the Hill, plus spin-offs, The Jeffersons, and Maude. Watched now on IMDb TV. Yeah, that was a classic show. I loved it. I loved the Archie Bunker character, the humor. That was classic. Soul Train aired from 1971 to 2006, and it is now in syndication. Why it mattered. Soul Train brought the funk and R&B, hip hop, jazz, and disco to an audience that was already ready to move and groove. It was the first major outlet for African Americans to do something that came so natural for our culture, which was music and dancing, says Ruth Pointer, 75, of the hit-making group The Pointer Sisters. When we saw it, we were like, oh my God, we've got to be there. They performed in 1973, 1975, 1981, and 1984. Created and emceed by the smooth baritone voice Don Cornelius, the show aired on weekends for 35 years, featuring breakout performances by hundreds of acts including Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Marvin Gaye, and Destiny's Child. Show highlights. In 1974, the Soul Train line, an idea revived from 1950s sock hops, famously got down to Kool and the Gang's Jungle Boogie. The YouTube clip has more than 4 million views. I'll never forget, it felt like I was at a block party in the hood, Pointer says. Did you know Soul Train is the setting for a 1994 episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Will Smith and Carlton, Alfonso Ribeiro, have a dance-off. It influenced In Living Color, The Arsenio Hall Show. Watch it now on DVD. Yeah, Soul Train was another show. Well, we didn't do a lot of dancing in my family, so I didn't, as a young person, don't give me the side eye for this, but I didn't get it right away. So I would flip on, watch for a little bit, and I would flip off. But looking at clips of it now, I get it. In my family, we didn't do a lot of dancing. I didn't become comfortable dancing until later in life. So looking at it now, I get it, and I can see the brilliance of that show and what it was doing, and the good time that people were having on it. So the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, that aired from 1971 to 1974 on CBS. Why it mattered. Scoring chart-topping hits such as I Got You Babe and The Beat Goes On is impressive enough. Sonny Bono and his then wife Cher were asked to take their comedy and music act to TV. A brief summer run turned into a 4-season smash of music and sketchy comedy. It was such a whirlwind trying to learn all these new things, Cher 75 recalls. But I don't think I was nervous for the first shows because we had Sonny and a comedy troupe and cool guests. She adds that the opening monologues, filmed in front of live audiences, were already honed from their nightclub acts. A show highlight. We got unbelievable guests like Betty White and George Burns, Cher says. A 1973 episode in which the two handed out the Bono Awards featured one of her all-time favorites, Carol Burnett. I'll never forget our introduction to Perry Mason, actor Raymond Burr, on the post-divorce Sonny and Cher show in 1976 was the funniest thing that we did, she says. It took us forever to do because we were laughing so hard. They had to cut it down, find the clip on YouTube that isn't edited. Did you know all those eye-popping outfits that designer Bob Mackie crafted for Cher are now in storage? I remember he would show me the drawings, she says, and then we'd talk about it, and then I'd go upstairs to his shop, to the beading room, to see what the ladies were doing, and it was amazing. But I don't know what to do with them now. Maybe a roadshow. It influenced Donnie and Marie, the Rosie O'Donnell Show, The Kelly Clarkson Show. Watch it now on DVD. So I'm not familiar with this one. McMillan and Wife. This aired from 1971 to 1977 on NBC. Why it mattered. After a memorable movie stretch, Rock Hudson went to the small screen for his glamorous and popular cop and show inspired by the Thin Man films of the 1930s and 40s. He played Stuart Mack, McMillan, a debonair San Francisco police commissioner who teamed up with his beautiful wife Sally, Susan St. James, to solve murder mysteries. And though Sally had a penchant for getting into trouble, the two always ended up safe and sound. They started a genre of high-class folks chasing well-heeled scumbags, says John Leverance, the senior vice president of awards at the Television Academy in Los Angeles. A show highlight: Mac's ex, Barbara McNair, accused of murdering her husband, and all the evidence points to her, or does it? I'll never forget. It started the foundation of my lifelong friendship with Rock Hudson, says actress Stephanie Power, 78, who appeared in 2 episodes and later starred in the similarly themed Heart to Heart with Robert Wagner. He was so charismatic and still had that star quality from his golden period of films. Did you know, even though they played husband and wife, Hudson was 21 years older than James. He was 45 and she was 24 when cast. It influenced Heart to Heart, Remington Steele, Moonlighting, Jag, Bones, Castle. Watch it now on IMDb TV. All right, The Electric Company, which aired from 1971 to 1977 on PBS. And actually, a fun fact here is the Buffalo Bills offensive line that blocked for O.J. Simpson, their nickname was the Electric Company. Why it mattered. Decades before Zoom video conferencing, kids learned how to read and write on the small screen thanks to this wildly imaginative variety show. Produced by the Children's Television Workshop as a literacy-focused alternative for older kids to its own Sesame Street, the series taught basic punctuation and phonics via inventive cartoon shorts, sketches, starring a pre-famous Morgan Freeman and catchy songs. It showed how entertaining and educational kids program could be, Leverance said. A show highlight: The Adventures of Letterman was a clever animated superhero spoof featuring the voices of Gene Wilder, Zero Mostel, and Joan Rivers. In one episode, the hero's nemesis, the Spellbinder, devilishly rearranges and changes letters, transforming the word snack and its corresponding object into snake. I'll never forget, I used to watch it a lot as a kid, and it was part of my coming of age DNA, says Reggie Watts, 49, the comedian and late show with James Corden, bandleader, who appeared on a 2009 to 2011 reboot. I love the adventures that all the kids would go through. It had a good mixture of music and cool educational elements that weren't heavy-handed. Did you know the original cast, released by Warner Brothers Records in 1972 and featuring Rita Moreno and Bill Cosby, won a Grammy for Best Recording for Children. It influenced Saturday Night Live, SCTV, 321 Contact, and all that. Watch now on Hulu. I'll have to look that up because I have Hulu. And I think they also had a Spider-Man enactment on there. So they had little Spider-Man skits on there, if I recall correctly. It might have been something else, but I think it was the electric company. The Waltons, which aired from 1971 to 1981 on CBS. Why it mattered. It actually started as a standalone 1971 TV movie, The Homecoming: A Christmas Story, based on the upbringing of narrator and creator Earl Hamner Jr., but audiences responded deeply to what they saw, and the classic TV spinoff about a close-knit intergenerational family in rural Depression-era Virginia was born. It was completely different from anything else out there because it showed a family in long form, says Richard Thomas 70, who played John Walton Jr., or John Boy. It also had a nostalgic lens. It was based on childhood memories, so there was an emotional tug to it. A show highlight. For the two-part Season 7 premiere, the family mourned the death of Grandpa Zeb, played by Will Greer, who died during the show's production hiatus, on what should have been his birthday, planting seedlings at his gravesite. I'll never forget, at the Christmas party each year, the crew would show a blooper reel, and it was pretty blue, Thomas says. You'd see Grandpa and John Boy mooning the camera, and Grandma, Ellen Corby, sneaking into the cellar to smoke a cigarette. It was a pretty delicious counterpoint to the all-American family. Did you know actor John Ritter, who appeared in 18 episodes of the series as the rural community's young Reverend Matthew Fordwick, left the show after 4 years to take another part, the lead in a new network sitcom called Three's Company. It influenced Little House on the Prairie, Family, Eight is Enough, and This Is Us. Watch now on Amazon Prime for purchase. And finally, Upstairs, Downstairs, 1971. It aired from 1971 to 1975 on ITV in the United Kingdom, and then it aired from 1974 to 1977 on PBS in the United States. And I don't remember this one. Why it mattered. Behold, the first drama to weave class dynamics in this case, between the aristocratic upstairs Bellamy family and the dutiful downstairs servants in the townhouse in the Belgravia section of London from 1903 to 1930. There was no apology for the rich being rich or the poor being poor, says Leslie Ann Down, 67, who was just 19 when she was cast as a socialite, Georgina Worsley, in the third season. The writers explained the social classes from a character-driven perspective, and if you tell stories humanely, you will succeed. A show highlight. In the final, Georgina finally weds Anthony Andrews, Lord Stockbridge, and enjoys a lavish reception. I wore a beautiful handmade wedding dress, Down recalls. The poor girl deserved that wedding, and the fans loved it. I'll never forget, we rehearsed in a territorial army center in North London, and we were evacuated about 5 times because of the IRA bomb scares, Down says. The only good thing about it was that we were near a wine bar, so when we were evacuated, that's where we went. Did you know? Several episodes from the first season were filmed in black and white due to a dispute with the technicians' union. These installments were omitted from PBS's initial Masterpiece Theater run and were not seen in the United States until PBS reran the series in 1989. It influenced Downton Abbey, The Duchess of Duke Street, and Beacon Hill. Watch now on BritBox. So that's the ending of that with this being an entertainment and media channel, I thought that this was worth capturing. I don't always read my subscription to the Washington Post, but when I do take the time to open it up, I do find some interesting things in there. And this time I just so happened to find something that was relevant for my YouTube channel. So if you remember any of these shows, or if any of this resonated with you, please leave comments in the comment section below. Yeah, TV has definitely changed over the years. Yeah, things that are acceptable today probably would have been unimaginable 50 years ago, but that just shows you how pop culture and society evolve. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna stop this here. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. If you want to leave something in the tip jar, my Cash App and PayPal information are below in the description box. And enjoy the rest of your day, and be safe out there. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.